Hi, I'm Cash. Welcome back to Cash Talks Football. We're doing something a little bit different here, but I think some of this stuff needs to be started to be called out from the PGMOL, the referees, and we need to start putting it out instead of just like I normally do in a review of a football game or technical analysis or a breakdown. And one of the things about me, as you'll know, is I'm very impartial. I've been called an Arsenal fan. I outed myself as a Chelsea fan, outed myself as a Nottingham Forest fan. I mean, it's all sorts. So you just don't know who I support, which is brilliant. That's exactly how it should be. And the reason why we're talking about this is because we're talking about Gary Neville, and you all know that they're not impartial and they're not they're all biased from their old club that they used to play for, which can be expected to a point. But you're aware of that bias. You're aware that Neville used to play for Manchester United. What you're not aware of is why he no longer actually criticises the ownership at Manchester United, which he was previously doing all of the time. Now, he stopped doing that recently because something seems to have happened with the rejuvenation stuff going on with New Trafford. By the way, pulling Old Trafford down is just it's a bad thing for football. Like, getting rid of these grounds means you're getting rid of football. Adding VAR and doing all these things they're doing and crushing old football clubs and old grounds is completely destroying football. I mean, football is dying. It really is. If you're crushing these things, it means it's awful. So go back to this rejuvenation project that he's involved in, and he's building his own Gary Neville's hotels on there, which is going to make him obscene amounts of money, 30, 50, maybe even more. Goodness knows what he's going to end up walking away with that. So that basically means he can't criticize the INEOS Group, because otherwise he'll lose his deal. So not criticizing the INEOS Group puts him back into a really sort of weird place, because of all of the problems at Man United. That's where the buck seems to be stopping, because of what they've done with Ten Hag and Ruben Amorim coming in. I mean, it's one of the stupidest decisions I think I've ever seen in football, where Ten Hag is doing what he's doing, and then you go, no, what we're going to do is we're going to fire you midway through the season, bring in a coach to coach a bunch of players that can't play his system. We're not going to help him by getting new players into the transfer window to play that system. And we're going to try to, it makes no sense whatsoever. So the whole thing that they've done with Ruben Amorim needs to be called out, and but he won't do it because it's the INEOS Group, because it's cash cow with that rejuvenation period program and getting his hotels. And he's on Sky Sports speaking to millions and millions of people, influencing their decisions. And a lot of people, okay, that if you're terminally online, we already know that's what Gary Neville is and that's what he's about. But if you're not terminally online, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that that's his agenda. That's what he's really about, and that's why he doesn't talk about the INEOS Group. So if you're just a casual flicking through I'm just watching my team when I get to watch it, you wouldn't even know. It would just go past you. So having that bias on Sky Sports is huge. It's huge. Remember, Sky Sports are the ones that pay for the rights for everything, and then everyone else buys parts and parcels off them. So it is massive that you're on there. It is massive influential. Now, the other part about it is massively the reason people are stopping watching them, because of things like this, and they're not being called out, and they're not actually saying their biases, and they're not going, oh yeah, I've got some financial stake coming up with the INEOS Group, so I can't actually really criticize the INEOS Group, otherwise I will lose that business transaction. Well, he would never say that on TV, would he? I mean, how long do you think he'd last on TV after saying that? No, they'd pull him out straight away. No, so that's important to know, and I think we need to get that message out more and more. But also, that there's a little bit more to it than that. Just the total dishonesty to everybody else. If you're like thinking about his opinion, or trying to listen to a human being that's trying to give you some insight into a game that you think that they're credible in, he just loses all credibility whatsoever. Now you can't take him seriously on anything. I mean, we can say it shouldn't happen, but we know it does happen, and it's one of those things in football that I think, as fans and commentators, anything, we need to call it out more, because goodness knows what's really going on behind the scenes, because this is the stuff that's open that we can see clearly. God knows what's really happened with all the referees and all that, like Michael Oliver's going to Saudi Arabia, the Manchester City League. We need to call that what it is. I mean, no one even calls that the Manchester City League. The Saudi Arabia League is over 25% owned by Manchester City, that we can tell straight away. Now, there might be more from all the dodgy dealings, but we know that that's 25% straight off the bat. So it's like, how are they allowed to run a league and then send players from their team to that league on overinflated prices that their team now can recoup the money for, like, it's nuts. It's nuts. And this is one of the main things where I keep saying football is dying. It is dying. It is dying. And is the game going to carry on? Yeah. But actual football, what it used to be pre-VAR, when you could celebrate goals, have fun, there was banter, big bad challenges and good challenges, and there was actual passion. Now it is just cookie cutter, generic coaches, generic team, and that's it. It's all the same. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.